أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعه وولاه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. And we continue inshallah with the book of الطب الروحاني by Imam Ibn al-Jawzi rahimahullah ta'ala. And today we continue. So far, Imam Ibn al-Jawzi is telling us the amrad. Amrad means plural of marad. Marad means disease. And those are moral diseases, diseases of the heart and diseases of the soul. Like the body that we have disease, like, and the body ails. There is ailment of the body, there's sickness of the body, there's also sickness of the soul as well. And it has, like, we have reasons that causes the sickness of the body. We have reasons that causes the sickness of the soul. We have ways to avoid the sickness of the body. We have ways to avoid the sickness of the soul. We have treatment and medications and dawa for the sickness of the body. Same thing for the soul. Impact on the body will have impact on the soul, and so on. So everything that we talk about physically, you can comfortably do it spiritually. Lying, for example, we talk about lying. Lying is a sickness, and it has detrimental effect on the person himself, on those who are around him, and on the society in general, because you lose trust. It is exactly when a person is overeating, or a person is involved in bad habit, or a person is sleeping late. Does it affect them physically? Yes. So lying does the same thing spiritually. Hasad, being envious to others. It is like you are punching somebody. You are punching somebody, you are hurting that somebody. People are scared from you. You are bullying somebody, you are hurting somebody, you are transgressing somebody physically. And that has an impact on you. People don't like you anymore. You have that impact on someone. Someone is hurt. And you have impact on the society that nobody trusts anybody. That's physical. Now, when you have envy, it is like you are attacking someone spiritually. You are not satisfied with Allah's division of resources, and you dislike people. And now people, when they know that about you as hasad, they dislike you, they mistrust you, they don't feel comfortable around you. And that, again, will expand in the society to the point that people now mistrust each other, and everybody's afraid of everybody. Now you can go around and say, oh, I think this people have hasad on me, and I think I have black magic, and I think I have evil eye. And you're accusing everybody around that they have that. And everybody's accusing everybody and thinking that they are an innocent person or they are an angel. So it has detrimental effect morally and spiritually on the society. That's the part the Jawzi here trying to make us understand. So he's saying that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that the nations before you, they have a disease that destroyed them, which is al-hasad. And this is happening to you in the same thing, right? And the people who do not have anything in their heart, they are the good people, subhanAllah. But they in this society and this time now, they're getting hurt themselves also. But you start with yourself and you make the circle bigger. Raise your children like that. Make sure your family is like that. We are speaking about it now in this class. I hope all the sisters in this class who are listening and who are teaching and who are promoting this video later on, that they take this upon themselves to repeat the same thing until we change the society little by little. And today, in section number 12, it is دفع الحقد. دفع الحقد. حقد يعني grudge. الحقد يعني إيه؟ grudge. What is حقد? Means that bad negative feeling remaining in the heart from someone. Subhanallah, when somebody does something to you good, it remains, gratefulness remains. When somebody hurt you or does something bad, you have that feeling of hatred toward them. Some people, not because somebody hurt them, but just because they don't like somebody, they have hiqd on them. What is the difference between hiqd and hasad? Al-hasad is wishing for something in the hand of someone to leave them, whether it comes to you or not. They have money, they have possession, they have a house, they have a car, they have a ride, they have animals, they have children, they have whatever it is. You don't want them to have that. Whether you want the same, you want to leave them and go away, you want them. But al-hiqd is that you are not satisfied with the existence of the person himself. You do not want the person to be happy. You don't want the person to be comfortable. It's not now, يعني إن تمسسكم حسنة تسوء. Whatever good happens to you, they're not happy with it. So your mere presence in front of them is not there. That's what's the difference between hiqd and hasad. So I'm working in one place and somebody is jealous because of my job or my position, that they want that position or that promotion or that leadership or that authority or anything like that. But al-hiqd is seeing me happy, seeing me successful. You don't want that. You don't want that. It's not like you want to be in my place. It's not like you want, that person wants this to be transferred to them. No. They are not just happy that I'm happy. Right? Ibn al-Jawzi here mentioning the impact of doing good to others. He's saying that Abdullah ibn Ka'b ibn Malik was one of the three who did not go with the Prophet ﷺ with the Battle of Tabuk without any excuse. So Abdullah, his son, is narrating that about his father. He said that when he stayed behind, not going with Rasulullah ﷺ, and then all of what happened, the tawbah took place. And Allah Azza wa Jal sent that his forgiveness to them. And he was sitting, the Prophet ﷺ was sitting in the masjid. And when Ka'b ibn Malik came to receive the glad tidings from the Prophet ﷺ that Allah accepted your tawbah and Allah forgive you, he said, once I arrived in the masjid, Talha ibn Ubaidillah, he ran from the gathering around the Prophet to receive me when I'm entering the masjid, to congratulate me. He shook my hand and congratulated me with my forgiveness from Allah. He said, none of the muhajirin, listen to this, none of the muhajirin did it except Talha. So I never forgot it until this day. To Talha ibn Ubaidillah. You see, because he felt grateful to him. This is somebody who did a mistake. He repented to Allah. Allah accepted his repentance. He's coming to receive the glad tidings from the Prophet. All the Sahaba sitting around him. And then, Talha stood up, rushed to him, and he hugged him and he shook hands with him and he congratulated him. When you do that to people, people never forget. When you go out of your way, people don't forget it to you. Right? So that's something that is never forgotten. Exactly when somebody does an impact like that. Same thing. When something bad happens, it stays also, the impact stays in the heart. That's why we have to work on erasing that from our hearts by forgiving and all of that. How you forgive someone, how you are able to erase that bad impact on your heart from someone. We don't want you to have hiqd, even to justify it, but we don't want you to have it. So you see how Allah rewards the one who forgives. And also how, the degree that Allah Azza wa Jal give for the one who forgives. And also remember that everybody makes mistakes and you can be that person one day. And how the forgiveness becomes perfect when you don't have that kind of still there is a feeling in your heart. No, just if like they say, forgive and forget. The highest level is to feel that what happened to you, somebody hurt you, hurt your feeling. But this is a high level, not only for anybody, it's not for anybody, but it's only for the muttaqeen and the high. They accuse themselves all the time. Said, whatever happens to you, it's because what you did. So maybe I did something wrong. And that's why Allah make that person hurt me. We're not approving the hurt. We're not approving the wrong. We're not justifying it. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that instead of having grudge on someone who hurt you, say, maybe I hurt someone. And that's why Allah Azza wa Jal it's a payback time. Or maybe I needed reward and my salah and fasting and all of that were not enough. That's why somebody insulted me or somebody hurt me or somebody transgressed me. Or maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is raising my degree in this dunya and in akhirah. Can be all of that. So إما لتكفير خطأ أو لرفع درجة أو لاختبار في الصبر. يعني this is an even more specific treatment to yourself. First step is to forgive. Second step is to forget. Say, okay, you know what? As if it didn't happen, I'm just over that. خلاص. It's hard. And then third step is to say, you know what? Maybe Allah is raising my degree. That's why this thing happened to me. So it becomes easy for you to get rid of it. Ya Rab, make this as a reward for me in this dunya and akhirah. Maybe Allah is testing your sabr, and that in itself is a reward. حسب الناس أن يتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون. Do you think that you say I'm a believer without Allah testing you? So sometimes a person hurting you, as bad as it is, as wrong as it is, as much they will be punished for it as it may be. We're not debating any of that. But from your point, from your side, from your perspective, maybe Allah is testing your sabr. Nothing wrong. You did not do anything wrong. But Allah is testing your sabr to make you among the sabirin. وَإِنَّمَا يُوَفَّى الصَّابِرُونَ أَجْرًا بِغَيْرِ حِسَابٍ. The sabirin will be given the reward without count. طبعا, above all of that is to see that this is from the qadr of Allah and there is a hikmah that I do not understand. Yani if you cannot forgive, if you cannot forget, if you cannot say that this is a reward, this is just for my sabr, I said, this is the qadr of Allah, I'm going to accept it no matter what. So yani, you have options here to remove that hiqd and that thing from your heart. Next is دفع الغضب. الغضب يعني anger. And that's everybody's problem. I have anger problem. I don't know about you. But this is not the problem. The problem is, do you control it or not? Do you manage it or not? That's why they say anger management. They did not say anger erasing or anger, getting rid of anger. Nobody will, because you need anger sometimes. You need to be angry sometimes. So whenever you see in context, في القرآن, في الحديث, or in Arabic language or in any language, anger depicted in a negative way, means this is the anger that you shouldn't have. But sometimes the anger you should have. يغضب لحدود الله. Somebody disobeying Allah. يعني we are angry for what's happening in Gaza. I'm angry if a sister's privacy is violated, or somebody rape a woman. I'm angry. Or somebody takes the right of somebody. I'm angry. Or somebody disobeyed or not good to their parents. I'm angry. So is this anger justified? Yes. How far it goes, we can discuss that. What does it result into? We have to discuss that. So the reason of anger is justified or not. Your anger itself is justified or not. The level of your anger is justified or not. And what are the actions that happen as a result, justified or not. So anger is not like a good or a bad. Anger is a state that you have, not normal state, as a reaction. That's an emotion. Anger is there. Allah give us anger is there, is to prevent harm from happening to you and to take your right from those who transgressed you or violated you. دفع الأذى والانتقام من المؤذي. To prevent the harm and to take your right from those who harmed you. Revenge. That's why you have to be angry. Otherwise, if nobody's angry, if your anger is taken from you, people will kill you while you're smiling. Now, المذموم هو الإفراط فيه. يعني what is not good is exceeding the limitations of the needed anger. Now the person is not composed anymore. Now they are out of their normal state. Now they are going to make mistakes. And sometimes it takes the people to do things that they were not supposed to do, and it becomes a bigger problem. والغضب هو حرارة تنتشر عند وجود ما يغضب. يعني there is a reason that ignites it. غضب is like fire, and there is an ignition or a trigger. That is why Imam al-Jawzi said, غضب is heat that will expand over your body when there is a trigger for it. When the pilot goes on, like the stove, the fire will come. He said, then the blood of all the lusts become like a blood here. So it boils, wanting revenge. That is what anger is. It's like a body that has fever, and then the person started acting in the wrong way, or shivering, or hitting left and right. And he said, most of the time, anger comes because of arrogance. You will never get angry on somebody higher than you. Always you're angry about somebody that you can get angry at. Because I'm angry, but it's your dad or your mom. You can hold it down. Or your boss. Once they're out, you start screaming in your room alone by yourself. So anger here was not shown for someone higher. That's why someone lower, sometimes it is, you feel like you're better than them, or you're over them, or you can hurt them. طيب, what is the علاج or the treatment of anger? أن يتثبت, verify. So when somebody come and said, did you hear what happened to your spouse? Did you hear what your friend did? Did you hear what that person did? What did they do? Such and such. How come they do this? I am going to talk to them. I'm going to do such and such. You have to verify first. Verify. After you verify and you find that it's the truth, try to compose yourself. That's why the Prophet ﷺ said that if you're standing, sit down. If you're sitting, lie down. If you're walking, stop. Because now anger is taking over you. You're going to do whatever you do in a wrong way. So if you're walking, if you're driving your car, you might hit somebody or speed or. So basically you have to change the position that you're in. Change the position you're in. The wudu, because the Prophet ﷺ said anger is like fire, and the wudu is with water, and the water will extinguish fire. Also, one time the Prophet sees somebody was angry, and their jugular veins are popping up and their face becoming red. He said, I know something that if he says, Allah will take off all this anger. Or they will, whatever they're struggling with, it will leave them, that state of anger. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Say, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. So that companion went to that person and told them, the Prophet said, he said, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. He said, do you think I'm a majnoon? I'm crazy. No, you're not crazy, you're angry. That's why, see, when you're angry, your talk, not balanced. He's not accusing you of a majnoon. But you assume that a person is telling you what to do. When you are in a state of anger, you think you're crazy. And if you're driving, you might hit somebody. If you, in the heat of the moment, you might say something not right. That's why people divorce their wives when they are angry. They hit somebody, they kill somebody, they harm somebody, they say some word that they shouldn't say. And later, they regret it. But it's too late. That's why Allah Azza wa Jal told us, وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظَ وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ. Those who suppress their anger. Nobody said that you try to get rid of your anger, because it's nearly impossible, but you suppress your anger. Right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying that you suppress your anger and you forgive people. والغضب is bad. Even we do not want the ghadab of Allah to be upon us. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب. يعني not the one that you are angry with, ya Allah. Say, guide us along the straight path, the path of those on whom you bestowed your favors, not the path of those. مغضوب عليهم means the one who deserved your wrath or your anger, ولا الضالين, or those who went astray. So Allah has a ghadab. And everybody also have a ghadab, different of course, but everybody has a ghadab. But to control your anger, to seek the forgiveness. So we are asking Allah, Allah, don't make us among those you are angry with. That means Allah become angry with people and I don't want to be among them. So yeah, you become angry with people, but you do not want that anger to make you transgress. You don't want that anger to continue. You want actually to control yourself. And by the way, anger management is important. And even if we talk about it from psychological or mental health point of view, it is one of the diseases of this time. People have angry. It's not like people have anger issue. It's not because they have anger issue because they don't know how to control it. That's why a therapist or a counselor or a psychiatrist or somebody professional, they tell you, you have to see what are the triggers. You stay away from those triggers. يعني النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, when he told somebody who asked him, Ya Rasulullah, give me some advice. Ya Rasulullah, give me advice. أوصيني. As the hadith in Bukhari, قال لا تغضب. Don't be angry. فكرر مرارا وفردد مرارا. He repeated the same question and the Prophet repeated the same response. لا تغضب. Is the Prophet actually telling him don't be angry? No, he's telling him sallallahu alayhi wasallam, control your anger. And don't be angry without justification. And he's saying don't be angry. And if people of Quraysh come attack Medina, don't be angry. Is that exactly what the Prophet is saying? Of course not. No, but no two people can differ on this. يعني لا يختلف فيه اثنان ولا ينتطح فيها عن زاني يعني. لا تنتطح فيها عن زاني. Nobody different in that. That, when I tell you don't be angry. When I tell you calm down now. يعني it means you have anger, calm down now. But in that some situations said, man, why you are so calm? Come on, man, like do something. Be angry. انتفض. So what the Prophet says, don't be angry. The passive anger, the wrong anger, the negative anger that causes you problems. The Prophet said that the strong person is not the one who brings others down, is the one who controls himself. But sometimes you need to bring others down for their transgression. Right? So, and the Prophet ﷺ is giving us the picture here. So when you go to somebody, they will tell you what are the triggers. Stay away from the triggers. That's number one. If there's a certain person who makes you angry, and that person actually makes you angry, so it's justified. I mean, you are right. It is not your problem that you're angry without reason. No, that there is a person makes you angry. There is a certain situation makes you angry. There is a certain place makes you angry. Some people, when they go to a certain place, they become angry. Some people, when in a certain time of the day or the week or something, they become angry. Some people, that a certain situation that they are in become angry. Some people, because a certain action of people, they react but through anger. So you have to look what are the triggers, the causes. Can you avoid them or not? If you can avoid them, then avoid them. There is no harm done. Then you're not angry, because you say that I'm not angry unless I'm in that place. Well, don't go to that place. Now, if you have to be in that place, or you have to deal with that person, now we have another issue, now, another layer now. How can we mitigate the situation? How can we make it less impactful? Can we talk to that person? Can we change that situation? Can you come a little bit late? Can you come a little bit early? Can you sit in a different place? Can you sit in a different chair? All of these things are ways to cope with the situation, or to manipulate, not manipulate, is to change the situation so it does not cause you the anger. That's now we are in the details of it. That place makes you angry, but is the place passing by it or entering it? No, entering it. Do you have to enter it? Yes, but how do you enter that door? Why? Because that door is always crowded. So we're going to enter from the back door. Don't drive in the rush hour. Don't do these things. So you have to find out more details. Right? If you cannot avoid that either, now we have to practice self-control now. Right? To minimize your anger, to do something, breathe. Somebody says, don't be angry, breathe. But maybe change the situation and they don't need to breathe. They don't need to be angry. But if you can avoid the situation, that would be great. If you cannot avoid the situation, then you try to change the situation within. Then if you cannot, then you have to work on yourself, on your own self now. Do some exercise, do something, hold something in your hand, sit beside someone calm, ask somebody to be in your company. You have to work on yourself now. If all of these did not work and you cannot control your anger, make sure you control the reaction after the anger. And if you cannot do any of that, have someone who can help you with it. Or take medication at the end of the day. I don't know. And our job also is to help others manage their anger. If it's a family friend or a spouse or someone like that, when they get angry, they become out of control. Sometimes people want to put fuel on fire, you know. If you see somebody angry, it will make them more angry. Why? It's going to come at you. It's like fire. It's going to burn you one day. But that's also important. That hadith I told you about that person, Rasulullah said, I know something that will relieve him, is hadith Sulaiman ibn Surad. Sulaiman ibn Surad, radiallahu anhu. قال كنت جالسا مع النبي. I was sitting with the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, and the two men, they were insulting each other, cursing each other, accusing each other. وأحدهما قد احمر وجهه وانتفخت أوداجه. One of them, his jugular veins, they were popping up, and the face was red. So النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, he said, إني لا أعلم كلمة لو قالها لذهب عنه ما يجد. I know a word that if he says, he will get rid of all of what he has now. This redness and this. لو قال أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, if he say أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, I seek refuge in Allah from shaitan the cursed, ذهب عنه ما يجد. All what he has will go away from him. So they went, he said, Rasulullah saying such and such, تعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, go say أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. He said, oh, be a junoon? Do you think I'm crazy? The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said in the hadith narrated in Abu Dawood, hadith Abu Dharr radiallahu anhu, he said, if one of you gets angry, إذا غضب أحدكم وهو قائم while he's standing, فليجلس, sit down. فإن ذهب عنه الغضب وإلا فليضطجع. If the anger is gone by sitting, alhamdulillah. If not, lie down, change your position, keep in constant change until the anger is gone. That's why sometimes, just come with me, just leave this place. Let's go to the other room. Let's walk a little bit outside. That's good, actually. That's exactly what the Prophet is asking. Change the situation that you were angry in, or it caused you to be angry, or it was the fertile ground of anger. Move yourself out of it. Why? Because when you're standing, you are reacting more. You have more faculties to use your hand. But when you're sitting, you're less mobile. When you are lying, you're less and less mobile. When Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, if one of you become angry, just be quiet. And the only thing that makes anger worse is hasting to reaction, to the next step. Anger has to be treated in its beginning, because the longer it takes, the bigger the problem. It will escalate. It will escalate. And most of the time, regret will happen. And someone will get hurt. Either the person who's angry will end up hurting himself or hurting others, or be at risk and harm to others around. Some people kill themselves, or commit suicide, or kill somebody around them, or injure somebody around them, or break somebody around them. And some people, they make dua against their children. That's why the Prophet said, don't make dua against your children when you're angry, because maybe the heavens opened and you are transgressed by your child. You make dua against them and Allah accepts your dua for punishment. And then you regret for the rest of your life. Why did I hurt my son or my daughter or my loved one? And some people, they implode. Not only explode, explosion is outside. And some people implode. They may get a heart attack. They may get a stroke. They may die, actually. And sometimes a person punching someone, Abdul said, you break your own fingers because the other person is stronger. Or you're running at someone and somebody dodge it and you end up hurting yourself. So there is a harm for the angry person regardless. Even if the physical harm is inflicted on the other person, the moral harm is in you, the spiritual harm on you. You are weak now. You regret what you did. You're not composed. You stooped down to that level, and so on. How you treat anger, always envision yourself while angry, how bad you look like, how bad it can be. And also remember how good you look like if you're not angry and if you're composed and if you're controlled. Then you will know that anger is like part of insanity, going out from this, calmness, mental calmness. So sometimes you have to think about the repercussions. Think about what happens if you surrender to that anger. The worst can happen. And think about what good can come from controlling yourself. That's why they say when you're angry, write down your emotion and everything and wait for 10 minutes. Try to reflect on it. Most likely you're not going to do what you're about to do. The guided processors, whenever they become angry, they forget. They forget. Why? Because they want the afu. Allah is al-afu, and they want the forgiveness of Allah Azza wa Jal. And they suppress their anger. And some of them, they see that I get angry because the sins I committed. Some of them see that it's a test from Allah Azza wa Jal. As we mentioned in the issue of grudge, in the hiqd. So some of the guided processors used to say, I make sure that I don't say a word while I'm angry that I'll regret when I'm calm. I don't say words when I'm angry that I would regret when I'm calm. So even when they're angry, they know they're angry, but they're counting and calculating their words before they say it. And there is one of the guided processors, his name is Ibn Aoun, كان لا يغضب. He would not be intimidated by anybody or angered by anybody. But when he gets angry, he will tell to the person, Barakallahu feek. May Allah bless you. Also, do not punish people when you are angry. Do not take it into action while you are angry. You are angry, you can shout, you can do this. Don't make an action. Don't say something that you regret later on. Don't do something or punish the person that you are angry at. Wait until you calm down. So never punish your children when you're angry. You never punish your students when you're angry. You never punish your employees when you're angry. Just wait. Why? Because you want the punishment to come because of the sin or because of the violation, not because of the level of anger. Level of violation is different from the level of anger. My employee did not do what I told him to do, so I became angry. Now, if I punish them based on how angry I am, not how bad they performed. But when I calm down, then I can actually evaluate the situation according to the performance. Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, one time, they brought him someone who committed a violation or he violated something. Umar ibn Abdul Aziz said, if I'm not actually angry at you, I would have beaten you up, but I forgive you, and he let him go. Because now he's going to punish him because he's anger, not because of what he did. And this is where we come to stop today. And the next time we'll talk about Al-Kibr. I'm sorry that we started late today, but, half class is better than no class. So next time we'll talk about the kibr, because this is a bigger disease, besides anger. Not everybody gets angry, but a lot of people, they are arrogant, especially in our time now, especially with this material life, especially with this selfish culture, especially with accessibility to things that you show off with. Then kibr becomes a problem. And the Prophet ﷺ said, you will not enter Jannah if you have a weight of an atom of kibr. That's scary. So we'll talk about that next time, inshallah. Sallallahu alaihi wa sallam Muhammad. Alhamdulillah. Anybody have a question?
Sister Sundus have a question, and then next is Sister Salima. Can you please go ahead, Sister Sundus? I think her question is, we have, but if, or she's commenting on what you said earlier, to keep a distance from a person who hurts us repeatedly. How can we do this without family members, without cutting off relationship?
I know it is hard, especially with families. That's why I said, when you are in a situation that you cannot get out of because of a relationship in a way or another, you have to work on mitigating the situation. If it's a spouse, for example, and they have anger problem, let's just cut the chase. So if it's a husband or the wife or father or mother or somebody who gets angry all the time, and you don't know how to deal with them. Is that the questions, how to deal with the person? So you kind of try to change the confrontation. There's no confrontation. If what makes them angry is confrontation, don't let your own ego bring that anger on you. Because sometimes, especially ladies, they do these things, whether they are daughters or wives or mothers, whatever it is. But ladies, I see that they have that issue. Because by default, you consider yourself weaker than the man. I'm sorry, but this is the truth. You consider yourself like somehow. And that gives like an inferiority complex. I'm just saying the truth here. I'm not saying there's superiority or inferiority, but there is something embedded in there that you want to prove that it is not true by showing how strong you are. Okay, that's no problem so far. You can show how strong you are with somebody understanding, with somebody accommodating. But somebody who's hurting, you're hurting yourself. Like, why you come and poke the bear, Yani? Why you have to poke the lion? Why you have to poke the source of your harm? Just to prove that you're strong. Then what's going to happen? You know what I'm talking about. So that is one thing. Now, if you are getting anger by the action of somebody, you have to avoid if you can. You have to minimize the confrontation if you can. If you're going to do any of that, you control yourself. Even if the other person is right, I'm not saying, or if you are right, I'm sorry, if you are right and the other person is wrong, still have to control yourself. Sometimes, defending yourself at that time is not right. It's going to cause more problem from that person. Now we are dealing with somebody who's not normal. Like, why we insist on confronting somebody who's not normal? They are not normal. They are not controlling themselves. So whether you are the one who get angry, try to avoid the situation, try to control yourself. Whether you are dealing with somebody who's angry, try to avoid the situation, try to minimize the confrontation, try to control yourself, try to help them to calm down. But sometimes relationship will be cut. Yeah, relationship will be cut. Divorce will happen sometimes because you cannot live with somebody who have an anger problem. I agree. If it is going to affect you psychologically, mentally, physically, yeah, separation is the solution. I know it's not something that everybody wants to hear, but believe me, I advise people. In the past 10 years, I advise some people to get divorced. It's rare, but I do. Once I make sure that you cannot live together, you have to be separate. Otherwise, one of you will kill the other. So, sometimes you have to cut the relationship. Sometimes you have to minimize the relationship. Sometimes you have to modify the relationship. Sometimes you have to limit the relationship. It depends. What to do if it is your own family, siblings? Now, to say, I think I said that. Deal with kids, how to deal. Take them to a therapist. Anger management. It's very important. I'm telling you, having a professional now, it's like people use doctors for their heart, for their brain, for their body, for their muscles. Now they have to use professionals for their mental health as well. And I can attest to that. I can tell you that any time of the day. Find someone and find some professional, someone trustworthy, someone who have lots of experience, someone who have religiosity, especially Muslims, somebody who does not have an issue. They are very objective. They don't bring their own issues into it. Like I see a lot. I'm sorry, I have to say, I see a lot. Therapist men in the Muslim community siding with men, as therapist women siding with women. It's a preconceived notion, like once she has a case of a woman, then you find like without control, she's sympathizing with the woman against the man, regardless. Yeah, sometimes the man is wrong. I'm with you, but they are overdoing it. They support the woman, and it's kind of like whenever these ladies, sisters, consult with me as a sheikh or anything like that. I tell myself because it's easy. I'm an expert in this. So when I talk to the counselor or the therapist, I talk to her in a certain way. It pops up how she's already sympathizing with the female patient or the female case. But ya sheikh this, but ya sheikh that, she becomes an attorney now. It's not like a neutral person anymore. No, you have to be a neutral person. Put the problem on the table, not yourself. I talk that in public administration classes, put the problem in the middle. Once you put yourself in the middle, it's about you now. It's not going to work. It's not about you. And you have to make sure of that when you're handling it. Wallahu a'lam.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. I'm not sure if you can hear me.
Yes, I can.
You can. Okay. I'm not sure if this is backed by Quranic verses or a hadith, but is it true if I remember growing up, if we had a problem among siblings or something, our parents would always make us exchange gifts, right? That was something like we're doing charitable thing,
Absolutely.
And it made us better.
That's why the Prophet ﷺ said that person goes here, this person goes there, and the best of them is the one who starts with salam, right? Once you start with salam, it's an exchangeable thing. And believe me, most of the problems, misunderstanding. But we're talking here about anger. Now it's beyond, like while you're angry. What you're talking about, it is more of the mitigation of the situation. It's after people calm down, But we're talking about like preventing it at the start and preventing it while it's happening. But of course, later, absolutely. You bring people together who are angry at each other, exchange gifts, hug each other, like say, I'm sorry, kiss each other's head. Yeah, we do these things later, right?
Right.
Barakallahu fikum jami'an. Inshallah, I'll see you next week, inshallah, and I'll see you tonight, Surah An-Nur, inshallah.
Inshallah. Jazakallah.
Wa jazakumullah. Barakallahu. Assalamu alaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.